Welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine Starry and I share scary stories from Reddit. Today's episode is regarding scary stories on the highway. I was on a trip to Wartburg, Tennessee to visit the Obed National Wild and Scenic River with my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time. Wartburg is a small town with only one hotel that is so crappy that it's got an old mattress sitting outside as its official Google Maps photo. The river is beautiful though. Anyway, we're coming from another state park and we're in the middle of nowhere at 1 or 2 a.m. Just back roads for miles, and we hadn't seen another car in nearly half an hour. It's been lightly raining for an hour, so anyway, we are crossing a curved bridge over a creek. As we turn across it, there's just some guy sitting on the concrete guardrail in the middle of nowhere at 2 a.m. in the rain. He didn't look menacing or anything, just like some dude in his 20s in a plaid shirt. We're going from seeing no cars for so long to suddenly some dude sitting on a bridge in the rain right next to our car made us both jump and say, "What the F?" at the same time. Guy was just casually looking at us as we pass, and we don't slow down. 20 minutes or so later, we're dipping in and out of cell service and are completely lost. Google Maps keeps telling us it has no connection before popping in to say, "Stay straight," every once in a while. So we are just driving straight, hoping that it's the right direction until we get better cell service. It's not completely backwoods, but we see dark houses and driveways every once in a while, but it's after 2 a.m., so it was nerve-wracking, especially after getting surprised by the guy on the bridge. All of a sudden, Google Maps tells us to take a right at a three-way intersection. The road dips down and goes from asphalt to gravel to dirt with weeds very quickly. At parts, it opens up and doesn't even look like a road, like we're just driving through a field with barely visible tire ruts and trees maybe 30 yards off on the other side of us. I'm used to driving a four-wheel drive truck with fairly aggressive tires for work, but I was on a vacation, so I was in a two-wheel drive little Honda. I was getting worried that if I stopped for a deer or something, we would get stuck in the wet dirt and mud. But Google Maps was adamant that this was the way to Wartburg, and I didn't want to try to turn around off the crappy dirt road, so I kept going. For about 10 minutes, the road suddenly dead ends into thick brush and a massive fallen tree. Nobody had taken any vehicle through there for years, not even an ATV. I backed up into more uphill side and headed back the way we came. I had long since turned traction off because of how it can doom you off-road, and as I started to slowly accelerate, our wheels were spinning in the mud, just barely getting traction to keep moving forward, for what seemed like forever, but was probably around 5 to 10 seconds. They finally caught, and we made our way back to the road, and we turned off. We turned off Google Maps because it's telling us to make a U-turn and drive back into the tree. But here is the creepy part. It's very creepy. Right as we are starting to head back uphill, as the woods converge back around us, and the road turns from dirt and weeds to dirt and gravel, a medium-sized fallen tree blocks our path. This tree was not there before. I could see the opening to the asphalt road behind it, and there was a solid woods on both sides the entire way. My wife was like, "Is that really how we got down here? What are the odds that it would fall after we passed it?" But that tree did not fall like that. It had been dragged into that position from one end, like a gate being swung shut. I could even see the half semicircle-ish lines in the dirt. Some of the branches had made its way as it was dragged. Someone had seen us pass and dragged it there in the 20-ish minutes we were down that road, at about 2:30 a.m. in the rain. I am freaking out internally, but try not to show it to my wife, my then girlfriend. I had a big rechargeable spotlight I bought for camping, so I roll down the window and start shining it in the woods on the driver's side. Nothing. I get out and shine it on the other side, and up the road and back behind us. Nothing still. I quickly dragged the then tree to the side, rushed back into the car, and drove up back to the main road. Eventually we got to the crappy Wartburg Hotel and had a terrible night's sleep. Only thing I could think of was that maybe Google Maps was sending 9 locals down this dead-end road. It was well known, and some locals in a house on the main road heard or saw us going down it and decided to prank us. Or there were hunters in tree stands that I didn't see with my flashlight, and we basically drove through their clearing they were watching. But for a minute, I thought we had stumbled back past a meth or moonshine operation, and we were about to get unalived when I got out of my car. I told my girlfriend that the tree didn't fall like that. It had been dragged there, and she said, "What? Well, thanks for not saying that while we were sitting there, because I would have cried." Okay, so I live in Manitoba, Canada. I have a scary one for you. My friend and I were driving up from Winnipeg to Gillam. For reference, this is about a 12-hour drive north in the province, up near Churchill. After hitting Thompson, we got onto the 280. This highway has signs saying bring water gear to survive, etc. As help is hours away from any direction, and that's only if the weather allows you to walk hours to get cell reception. Anyways, we're driving up there in autumn, but a blizzard starts out of nowhere. No lights, no cars. We have passed for quite a while. We are past Split Lake, about 50 kilometers, and out of nowhere, the blizzard stops for a second. Then when this happens, we see a snowy owl come right towards the windshield. I slow down as fast as I can, as this all happened in a split second, and it is pitch black out there. Honestly, the only way I could describe it is time slowing down. The snowy owl turned into this really messed up face, as it's about to hit the windshield, like the movie poster Slenderman face, mixed with a bat coming through the windshield and Mothman prophecies. And a blizzard starts up again. We look at each other shocked, and then immediately look to the dash of the car, where the GPS appears. This is a newer car, 2018, and we were listening to music that we downloaded beforehand, knowing there was no service. On the dash, and on my phone screen, is this face. We started freaking out and tearing up immediately, but I knew that to stay calm because this road is no joke. I was driving in a blizzard in a pitch black with that face on the screen, and we tried to turn off the phone for the next 2 hours of the drive, but it wouldn't go away. Even when my phone was off, it was still on the dash. We experienced a few more blizzards on the way, and the feeling was horrendous, like it was taunting us, or something the fact that it was there the rest of the drive, and throwing random obstacles along the way. When we finally came around the lake, we were almost in town. Our music started playing out again out of nowhere, and the face of my phone and dash was gone. It was the most memorable 2 hours of my life, and I can't explain it. Talking with indigenous folk around the area, it's common for weird things to happen along that stretch of highway. So I live in a pretty dark rural area. One night I was driving home rather late when I saw this strange looking guy, extremely pale, very white skin, very long limbed, pedaling strangely on a bicycle that was entirely too small for him. Think of a very tall man on a child's bike. We made eye contact, and he looked at me very strangely at the stop sign. So I gunned my motor, drove rather quickly down the remainder of the road, down towards the dead end where I lived, parked my car, ran in, shut the lights off, and locked all the doors behind me. 2 to 3 minutes later, my dog was alerted, and instead of greeting me as usual, he ran to the window and started barking. Okay, I thought. Anyway, that had me wondering. That was not like her at all, so I went to the window too. I remember my strange encounter with this tall, eerie man minutes before. It was very dark outside. I started to see motion lights on the houses on the street start to come on in succession, one after another. Still looking, the light on the home on the corner across from us went off. I heard a weird noise, accompanied by a clinking noise, some sort of chains or keys, as well as loud stomping footsteps, like someone was running really hard. The dog was still barking. Then the lights started to go off one by one, and now I'm freaked out all the way out. Nothing was there. I saw absolutely nothing. Nobody. Nothing that could have caught up with my 8-cylinder. Nobody running. No, not even cycling on the road that could have set these lights off. Just nothing. My dog made a weird cry and then went and lay down on the couch. went to her, she was shaking. To this day, I have no idea what that was all about. Nothing like this happened before to me, and nothing since. I never ever seen this guy. Nothing was missing, nothing taken, nobody's home broken into. I have no idea who or what it could have been to make those noises, or what set the lights off one by one like that. It was like something out of Stranger Things, except it happened 25 years ago. I will always wonder what would have happened if I had been slower getting out of my car and getting to my house. Something in that odd guy I saw at the stop sign made the hairs go up on my arm and made me book it for the comfort of my home, behind the safety of locked doors. My ex-husband was stationed in Newport, Rhode Island. We were there for 3 years. We moved into military housing, which was located in Newport, near the community college. It was near everything, but vandalism and burglary was an issue, so we decided to move to housing in Portsmouth. The housing was a bit more secluded, and the community was not just bigger, but nicer in general. My ex was a firefighter instructor, so if you know anything about the base, you know there are different gates and exits. I believe it was gate 5A. We all knew it as the back gate near the fire instructor building, and you only had 2 options once you exit. Either you make a right and enter the busy main street that leads you to Portsmouth, or back into the island, or you made a left. Straight shot, 2-way lane, no traffic lights, no street lights, just pure darkness and woods on each side. Not many people would take it at night because it was simply very creepy and eerie for sure. On my way back from school, I would take it since it was generally just a cut in my drive by 15 minutes. Since at the end of the road, you made a right turn at the stop sign, and the housing complex was right there. I would only take it if I drove my ex's truck. For some reason, it made me feel safe. One night I was driving back and I began to feel a sensation on my back. Now this is where things turn weird. Have you ever sat in one of those chairs that are at the mall and it gives you a massage, or when you're getting a pedicure? That's exactly what I was feeling, but not all over my back. I felt like someone's massive knuckle pressing from behind against my back, of my seat on my right lower back. I kept driving thinking it was just my head and just leaned forward. I would drive the truck to many places at all hours of the night. The only time this occurred was when I was by myself and on that road. Finally, I asked my ex if he had done something to the truck, explained what was going on, and he just looked at me as if I was crazy. I kept avoiding the road with logic in my head, telling me it was just my nerves and all of my 1990s horror movies. So one night, I finally decided to take this road once more, because I'm not crazy. I began to drive. The eerie feeling came over me. I turned the cab light on and nothing was there. The minute I turned it off, it felt like something was in the truck with me. That's when it started. The knot began rubbing against my back, and this time it was aggressive. I took my right hand and placed it against the seat, and all the color left my face. I could feel someone pressing behind my seat with their knuckle and moving it. I immediately turned my cab light on, leaned forward, and sped back home. Never telling my ex, friends, or driving that road at night ever again. I became friends with another wife after some time, and somehow we spoke about that road since a lot of people would use it during summertime to train for marathons. She began to tell me how she would never take the road again at night, after one night coming home from school and feeling like someone was in the car with her. She stopped at the end of the road and looked back into her car to see nothing, but when she turned to face forward, there was a dark shadow. It was tall, coming out of the road or attached to it. She couldn't tell. She said she's never driven so fast in her life. That's when I knew I wasn't crazy.